Captain Redbeard, quick! Off the left bow, it's a bird, it's a plane!
No, it's a dead Jayhawk.
Happy Friday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri. We have Captain Redbeard steering the ship, making all of the magic happen, guys. No Eric Ruby, Jose Perez decided to take the day off, but who knows? You might see him at some point on today's show. You also might see our friend Steve Peters, analyst, PHNX Hockey, coming on the show to talk Sun Devil hockey, getting the season started today. Jam-packed show today, guys. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We got Res Devil. I'm in the front row. We got BC. Go Sun Devils. Do us a solid again, guys. Hit that like button. Buckle up. We have a good one. We have Fact or Cap. We have got Heat Index predictions, hot or not, and so much more. Definitely chime in the comments throughout today's show. Give me a little something to work with here, okay? Otherwise, sometimes it's just me and Captain Redbeard, or I'm just going to be talking into the void, which is what I do for the other 23 hours of my day when I'm not sitting in front of this camera and the lights. So humor me a little bit. But Sun Devil fans, let's get into it now for Fact or Cap, brought to you by Branded Bills. Elevate your brand with Branded Bills, the perfect headwear and apparel. Use that code PHNX for $20 off your first order. Chat, this one's for you. Fact or Cap, Arizona State needs to put up or shut up against Kansas. Let me know what you think in the chat. Clint just got here. I'm going to say that Arizona State needs to put up. This team 100% has to put up or shut up on Saturday against Kansas. This isn't a game against a Big 12 opponent in the Jayhawks that the Sun Devils can lose to and just cruise right on to the Utah game. You have to prove that this coaching staff is different. You have to prove that this bye week was a get-right week. You have to prove that what happened against Texas Tech isn't going to snowball into a losing streak. You can't afford to have that happen, not when there's already so much promise within this program through the first 4 games of the season. Your Arizona State Sun Devils sit at 3-1 right now. And let's be real for a second. There weren't a lot of individuals that thought that this team was going to be 3-1 to this point in the season. There just wasn't. But they are. They took care of business against Wyoming. They took care of business against their SEC opponent in Mississippi State. They went on the road, beat a good Texas State team that won last night. And then you open conference play. You open conference play against a team in Texas Tech that at the time had the high-flying #1 passing attack in the Big 12. You went on the road. The wheels fell off. Wheels fell off early in that game. Couldn't get him back on. Now you have a bye week. Take care of business. You get healthy. Raleek Brown's back. Jacob Kongaika's back. Zach Swanson's healthy. LaTerrence Welch is healthy. Prince Dorba's healthy. Sean Naw is healthy. Sam Leavitt had another week to develop. Cam Skattebo had a week. Let the bumps and the bruises heal. You have more than enough time to game plan for the Kansas Jayhawks. And on the flip side, the Kansas Jayhawks are 1-3. 1-3, 1-4. It's a team in Kansas that hasn't beaten an FBS team all season long. They haven't. Everybody thought this team was going to be good. I thought they were going to be good. I thought Jalon Daniels was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. We knew Devin Neal was good. This team hasn't been good. You can't afford to let them get right. You can't afford to let them come into your house where you're opening Big 12 play at home for the first time in front of a bunch of Sun Devil fans, packed crowd, family weekend. You can't afford to let them come in and dictate this game. Because if you do, that sends a signal. It sends a signal to the fan base that you're not ready and that they don't need to show up yet. That showing up on Saturdays, not worth their time quite yet. Because what Arizona State football does is the same thing that Arizona State basketball does, is the same thing that Arizona State baseball does. They play up and down to their competition better than anybody else. But that's the old narrative. That's the Herm Edwards narrative. That's the Ray Anderson narrative. They're not here anymore. So it's time to flip the page in the book. It's time to open Big 12 play at home for the first time. I know conference play already started. But do it at home in front of a bunch of ASU fans, a bunch of a student section that's going to be packed out, and go in there and put the birds in their cage. Send them home. Kansas, like I said, doesn't have an FBS win this season. Don't let them get one on Saturday. You're the better team. You got the better coach. You got the better program. Put on a show. So yes, you have to put up or shut up. Because you put up, you get your first Big 12 win as a member of this conference. It's massive. It's history. Then you got Utah next Friday. Get the fan base juiced up for that. You want to have a chance against Utah, you're going to need the fans behind you. You think the fans are going to show up if you come out flat on Saturday against Kansas? You think they're going to go show up next Friday night for that against Utah when you're not going to be picked to win? They're not showing up for a 3-2 team. Not after a bye week. Not going to happen. But if you come out Saturday, like you did against Wyoming, like you did against Mississippi State, you finish the game like you did against Texas State, Kansas ain't going to do a thing. You're going to get the dub, and you're going to have the Sun Devil fan base juiced up to be back at Mountain America Stadium the following Friday. Under the lights. Against a top 25 team in Utah. You have to. You don't have a choice. So yeah, you have to put up or shut up. You have to. Res Devil in the chat, that deeply embedded ASU fan syndrome is saying we're going to crap the bed and lose all momentum. That right there, it's a valid point. Because that's what Arizona State football has led their fan base to believe. It's what their fan base has had to live for decades. It's time to change the narrative. If not now, then when? This is the game to do it. You're better than this team. Yeah, they got a couple weapons. Devin Neal's good. Jalon Daniels is all right. He's athletic. But if you don't do it now, then when are you going to do it? You have to take care of Kansas on Saturday. You have to. That is the only way that you are going to get this Arizona State fan base to 100% buy in for what you have the rest of the season. It's the only way. So, put up or shut up. Because if you lose, you can't come back here the next week and say the same things about what happened against Tech. You just can't. Because it's not valid. The bamboo's growing. Don't stunt the growth. Get it done on Saturday against the Jayhawks. Guys, we are just getting started. That is Fact or Cap, again, brought to you by Branded Bills. We are going to get into 3 players that can help change that narrative for Arizona State. 3 players that need to go out there against the Jayhawks and have a big game. But we are going to take just a quick break. Now I'm going to tell you about our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Guys, Sanderson Ford, if you've never been, they have literally a 65-acre facility. Makes them the largest Ford dealership in the nation. I feel like dealership is not even like a great word to describe what they have. I feel like facility is really what it is over at Sanderson Ford. You got great cars, you've got great customer service. Heck, you even have a diner over there that whether you're going morning, afternoon, grab yourself a bite for breakfast, maybe even stop by for lunch. The prices are cheap. And look, I'll tell you what, the best part about Sanderson Ford, in my personal opinion, not only the vehicles, but really that customer service is next level. You go in there, tell them you're a fan of PHNX Sports sent you. They are going to make sure that they do everything in their power to make sure that you leave with a vehicle that your heart desires. Guys, get deals on the 2024 Ford Bronco Sport for 5.9% APR for 66 months plus $2,000. Must be financed through Ford Motor Credit OAC. Also, help us celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with a Dia de los Muertos inspired trunk or treat at Sanderson Ford. See dealership for details. Now, that last segment brought to you by, again, Branded Bills. Elevate your brand with Branded Bills, the perfect headwear and apparel. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. You can see just on the back end of this wall back here. I don't even know where to point back there. There's 2 hats back there from Branded Bills. They are comfy, they are affordable, and they are perfect for whatever you need them for. You going fishing with Pops? Branded Bills. You gonna go work out? Branded Bills. You going to a suit and tie event? Branded Bills, okay? Head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, we got 24 of y'all in the chat. Again, do me a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button to PHNX Sports. If you're not subscribed, already a ton of Valley content. We are talking Diamondbacks, Cardinals, Suns, hockey, Mercury, Rising, ASU, U of A. The list goes on and on and on. Clint's just vibing in the chat. Res Devil here as well. Some loyal Arizona State fans. But again, need to come out with a win. Let's not get too deep into the fun. We got business to take care of tomorrow. You got to beat the Jayhawks. So who's going to help you get it done? Well, we've got 3 players that need to help Arizona State in a big way to move to 4-1 on the season. Guys, this is Heat Index. It is now that time in the week for another edition of Heat Index. If you're new here on the PHNX Sun Devils show, we give you 3 Arizona State players that need to have a big game for Arizona State to come out on top. This time up against the Kansas Jayhawks. And of course, we are joined now by the one, the only hall monitor himself. Glad you could make it for like part of the show, man.
I've appeared. I didn't want the slander thrown on my name, even though it is my day off. I'll have everybody know. I decided to come in here and just make sure that you weren't all alone.
Just grind. I mean, I'm always all alone.
No, you're not. You always have red beard. That's all that matters.
But he's busy steering the ship 10 times.
That's true.
I'm
just I'm in the backseat driving.
Yeah, you're driving the boat.
Backseat driving.
Backseat.
Hey, a little bit left. Too much to the left.
Get to the front bow. Yeah. Something like that. Boat terms. Pirate terms. Guys, Heat Index. Let's kick it off with Jake Smith. Jake Smith, at the start of the week, I said, was an Arizona State player that needed to have a big game, one of the faster guys on this Arizona State offense. Kansas runs a lot of man coverage. They obviously have some premier corners in Mello Dotson and Kobe Bryant. Jake Smith, we've still kind of yet to see him go out there and have a breakout game. I think he's made some plays from time to time this season. But Eric, I think Jake Smith has the potential to be a difference maker on Saturday.
When you have a really talented secondary in Kansas, one thing that's really hard to match at certain points is just speed.
Yeah.
And Jake Smith has that speed. Plus, a lot of focus is going to be on Jordan Tyson as well, Melquan Stovall. So there are other weapons out there that they're going to have to kind of spread out and make sure that they cover. Could open up Jake Smith. I don't need like 10 catches for him, but maybe just like 3 or 4, but big pickups, kind of catch them by surprise. That would be a great way to keep this offense moving and to help Sam Leavitt not just get in a rhythm, but also get those deep balls a little bit more consistent as well.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can build some chemistry throughout the season. And I think, like you said, a lot of people defensively are focused on Cam Skattebo and Jordan Tyson. And we've still kind of, been waiting and looking for that second guy in the receiver core to stand out. Xavier Guillory, he's had his moments. Shimon Matire, he's had his moments. Even Melquan Stovall from time to time. But I think we're still kind of waiting on a game from a second or third wide receiver to go out there, maybe cross that century mark, and really, really take it to the opposing defense. And again, I think Jake Smith can certainly be that guy for Arizona State against Kansas. But I do want to get to the second player in Heat Index. It is Jacob Kongaika returning to the lineup for the Arizona State Sun Devils. Eric, we talked earlier in the week about Kansas's ground game. It is top 15 in the nation. Obviously, Devin, Neal, and Jalon Daniels, they are two of the more athletic guys offensively in this conference. And when you have a defensive line that doesn't necessarily feature as much depth as you would like, I think getting Kong back in the lineup going against a Kansas offensive line that's pretty good is going to be a big part of this game.
Yeah, this is out of all the Heat Index players that we're talking about, this is the hottest for me. This is the one that needs to step up the most, obviously coming back healthy as well. The entire defensive line needs to have a really good game and help get Jalon Daniels uncomfortable, help force him to force any turnovers as well, because we'll get to our score predictions, but part of the reason why my score prediction is the way that it is because I am predicting that ASU is going to at least force this Kansas offense into 2 turnovers. So, that being said, Jacob Kongaika, a massive part of that, pressuring Jalon Daniels, and of course, getting to Devin Neal as well, possibly punching the ball out from Devin Neal would be fantastic. He made such a big impact on the field when he was playing. I'm excited for him, and kind of conversely, when we were talking about the beginning of the season, how when one guy plays well, it opens up everybody else alongside them. If Jacob Kongaika can win his matchup and dominate, get past his guy every single time, it makes life so much easier for everybody around him. So I believe he can do that. I think it's extremely important for him to do that. And if he's able to, Kansas's offense is going to have a hard time getting going.
Absolutely. With a nickname like Kong, you have to be able to disrupt the trenches there. But getting to our final player in the Heat Index, back on the offensive side of the ball and back in the lineup as well for Arizona State, that is none other than running back Raleek Brown, the USC transfer over the offseason for Arizona State. Been dealing with some injuries throughout the first handful of weeks in the season. We saw him a tad, I believe, against Texas State, but there wasn't a whole lot there, given what Texas State's game plan was against the Sun Devils offense. Raleek Brown, similar to Jake Smith, a guy that can alleviate some pressure off one of the stars in the Arizona State lineup. Of course, Cam Skattebo, he takes the brunt in the boatload, I guess, of carries for the Sun Devils. Raleek Brown, another guy that can alleviate that pressure off Scat, and he's quick too, just like Jake Smith. We said you need to get these speedsters in space against Kansas.
Well, the tough part with Raleek is when you go into a season, you have high expectations for everybody. Usually there are some players that aren't able to meet that expectations for whatever reason. Of course, with Raleek, a big part of that has been injuries, but 2 carries for 1 yard on the season. You need more out of Raleek Brown if he's playing. And obviously he hasn't been playing, but if he is, you need to find a better way to utilize him and you need to get him going, right? The same way that you're able to get like a Kyson Brown going, who's able to use his speed as well. Raleek should be put in situations where he's able to burn. And part of that is the fact that I feel like for him, they're kind of relying a little bit too, just give him like a little screen and see what he can do. I want to see some movement in the backfield. I want to see him keep people on their toes and then eventually be able to break one free. So if he's able to get going, that would be massive for this offense because I feel like they are kind of desperately in need of that quick twitch, speedy playmaker that can be a little bit more consistent. Yeah. I just don't think that they have that, especially in the running back room with Jake Smith. He's fast, he's quick twitch, but like we mentioned, hasn't been super consistent. So having Raleek out there would be massive if he's able to do something. I don't need him to get 100 yards, but if you're able to get, a couple first downs or pick up 6 or 7 here or there, keep the defense on their toes and keep them honest, that would be massive from Raleek.
For a defense in Kansas that runs a lot of man coverage, it's going to be beautiful for Raleek because you're running man coverage against an Arizona State offense that'll split you wide, and then you have Raleek, whether he's in the backfield or lined up in the slot or whatever, he's getting matched up with a linebacker, and there's not a lot of linebackers, not just in this conference, but in the country that can keep up with a guy like Raleek Brown. So maybe not 100 yards on the ground.
No.
Love to see 100 yards through the air, though. That'd be pretty cool.
I wouldn't predict that, but if Raleek
go Bulls.
If Raleek gets 100 this game, then ASU's winning it easily. ASU's probably blowing them out. If Raleek gets 100 yards in the air, even if Raleek gets 100 all-purpose yards, along with everything else that this offense can do, it's a good day for the Sun Devils.
You want to make a bet?
Depends on what the bet is.
If Raleek goes for 200 all-purpose yards,
okay,
you shave your head.
I shave my head?
Yeah.
I'll never shave my head.
You shave one eyebrow.
I don't know if it'll grow back.
One eyebrow.
No.
I don't know if it'll grow back.
Shaving hair, not on the menu.
No?
I'm down to make a bet. It could be something, I'll guess, a little bit more serious, but I'm not shaving anything.
Do you have anything, Captain Redbeard, that you can toss in here for 200 all-purpose yards for Raleek Brown? Anything spicy?
I'm not getting a tattoo, and I'm not shaving anything.
All right, 210 neutrals.
10 neutrals on the post game.
You're driving me home.
I'll drive you home.
I mean, you're probably driving me home anyway.
I'll drive you home. 10 neutrals on the post game.
Yeah.
During the duration of the show.
Yeah. We might have a long show, but yeah.
You are going to be hammered.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Wow.
If he gets 200 all-purpose yards, I think I would go nonverbal.
Yeah. Because of the 200 yards? Because of the 10
because
neutrals?
of the 10 neutrals.
Yeah, I think you would too.
I think I'd be very verbal for the first 4 to 5, and then I think 6 through 10, I'm just gonna sit there.
And it's you're doing that for an hour and a half.
We're doing a 3-hour post-game show. You're gonna be all right, guys, go Devils in peace. I'd be don't you
we
dare
can pour them in a giant cup. That way, it's not just you constantly.
Yeah, if he gets 200 all-purpose yards, I will drink 10 neutrals.
Wow. Okay, you saw it there. Be here for the post-game show. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I will be celebrating if Raleek gets 200
you will
all-purpose
be,
yards.
and you'll be waking up, probably still drunk on Sunday. If that's
I might
the
fall
case.
asleep on the post-game show.
Maybe. You never know, guys. Just to recap our heat index this week for Arizona State's matchup against the Kansas Jayhawks: Jake Smith, Jacob Kangaika, and Raleek Brown. Eric, we've done prep and talk and film and everything all week long about this matchup. We have finally come to the point where it is time for our predictions. I think we're both on the same side of the line here.
Kansas by 40.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's no need to really.
No, just to move on.
Yeah. Well, what do you have Arizona State scoring in their big loss?
Oh, and their big loss, 3.
40-3.
Yeah. No, 43-3.
43-3.
Yeah,
Ooh,
come on, don't be ridiculous.
Now
let's get to the real predictions. Let's stop messing around here. I think ASU wins 27-17. And the reason I believe that they pick up a 10-point victory, a little bit bigger than your margin of victory, is that massive turnover battle. Obviously, they have to play clean. ASU does. Unlike the Texas Tech game, if you were able to listen to Headspace with Jordan Tyson and Cole Martin last night, they were talking about what they need to do to beat Kansas and just not shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
was the answer. I don't believe that ASU is going to shoot themselves in the foot after a loss, after a bye week, and I do believe that they're going to be able to pressure Kansas, force some turnovers. I think it'll be close at halftime. It'll be close in the third, and I think there's going to be a big fourth quarter turnover that's going to kind of break that game open, turn it to a double-digit lead, 27-17. Your Arizona State Sun Devils are 4-1.
Only 17 points, big defensive outing for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, Kansas hasn't been a massive scorer this season, and so I would expect at home as well a healthy defensive line now adding Prince Dorba. I think that this should be a get-right game for your defense, especially before you play Utah. They need to go out there. They need to make a statement. So keeping them under 20 points at home would be really big.
Yeah.
And I do think that ASU makes a statement this game.
It would be huge. I am with you, though. I've got Arizona State coming out on top, 27-21. Kansas giving up 4 more points, or allowing 4 more points, or scoring 4 more points. I knew I'd get there eventually. Sometimes you just got to hold my hand when we get there, No. We're both on 27 apiece, though, for Arizona State's offense. I think the Sun Devils get cooking early, and they jump to a big enough lead to to really sustain that for the majority of the game. 3 touchdowns. Don't see Kansas doing too much. I'm with you. I think Arizona State forces some turnovers throughout this football game that ultimately help Arizona State come out on top. Again, head to the comments. Let us know what you think the final score is going to be. One final question, Rubis, before we get you out of here and back on your off day. How many turnovers will it take, or how many takeaways is it going to take for Arizona State to come out on top?
Will it take for them to come out on top?
Yeah.
Oh no, they could have 1 or 0 and still come out on top. It's just how dominant is it? Do you want a double-digit victory? They need to force 2. If you need them to win, you don't have to force a turnover. You just can't let them march down
I think
the field
they do.
and score.
I think they need to force a turnover.
You think they do need to force one?
I think so. You're creating an extra opportunity, yes, but this is a coaching staff that talks a lot about the middle 8. And the middle 8 is the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes in the second half. If you are able in that middle 8 to create an extra opportunity for your offense, and let's say you get the ball to open the third quarter, that right there is how you build that double-digit lead, kind of even taking away what goes on for the rest of this game. I think Arizona State does force 2 turnovers, 1 early and 1 late, and I think that might be enough to get it done, Eric.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be enough to get it done if they were able to do that. I just think forcing a turnover would be critical to feel comfortable in this game. I think there's a path for them to win without forcing a turnover, but the not forcing a turnover would come with forcing a turnover on downs multiple times. So it kind of has to balance it out.
Guys, we are going to send Rubis on his way.
I'll be back tomorrow.
To the action. Yes, he will be.
Maybe
here for
drinking
the
10
post
neutrals.
Game. That'd be fun. That would be fun. Kelsey Hall also going to be back on the post-game show as well. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Thank you so much, Dr. Rubis. We appreciate you.
Oh, of course.
Don't worry. The show still goes on. I love it. Kelly Parks, great show, guys. We appreciate you, Kelly. Kelly in the chat also with a score prediction, 30-23 ASU. Kevin says 31-28 Arizona State. Res Devil, 33-24. Good guys. Clint also in the chat. ASU 28-17. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Look, we talk a lot of ASU football, but on the other side of this break, we're going to change it up just a little. So definitely stay tuned. Now, you heard on our score predictions and heat index, Eric said that he would be drinking a number of neutrals if Raleek Brown went for 200 all-purpose yards. I don't think it matters if Raleek goes for that many yards. We are going to be celebrating with neutrals anyway on tomorrow's post-game show. Guys, keep it tasty, Tempe. This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. And if you're somebody like me, that I'm going to be totally honest with you, I am not a big vodka person. It's just not really like my liquor of choice, but I've had multiple neutrals, and it doesn't affect me the same way. The taste completely different, sits fine in my stomach, and overall, it's just an overall great experience when it comes to drinking seltzers. It doesn't even taste like a seltzer, guys. It's made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice, and it really does have that great flavor. Now, come in different flavors: pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, and so much more. Neutral, guys. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Neutral Flavored Vodka and Carbonation, St. Louis, Missouri.
And Totri, we have both been out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and we can both say that no one does it better than them. They have 4 locations: Wild Horse Pass, which we've both been at, Lone Butte, V Cueva, and Santon Mountain to experience the best that the Valley has to offer out here. You can go in with over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any one of their sports books. Go big or go home a winner. From upscale to approachable to casual to classy, from bar to bar none. Our selection of dining options are always in good taste. Elevate your experience with unbeatable views from their rooftop restaurant Prime. With an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement, you won't find that anywhere else in the Valley, and they know how to set a high bar. They really do. So belly on up, and let us show you what that next level is all about. We will be hosting events there all year long, including Cards and Sons watch parties and more. So stay tuned for info on how to come hang out with us there. And remember, guys, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
I love it. Shout out Captain Redbeard for hopping on the mic, giving me some time to breathe. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Really do. Look, we obviously talk a lot of Arizona State football, and rightfully so. But tonight, Arizona State hockey gets things going. Puck drop for the first time here this season. A lot of excitement. And there is nobody better, nobody more equipped, and nobody more handsome than Steve Peters to talk Arizona State hockey. But I'll let him take it from here. We've got the one, the only Steve Peters, a massive part of the PHNX family, also known for all the work he does at PHNX Hockey. Make sure you follow PHNX Hockey on social, subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. We're going to be diving into the Arizona State Sun Devils hockey team. Pete, it's the first time you and I have ever shared a mic together, man.
I tell you what, I could not be more excited. I understood the assignment. Forks up. I got the glasses on. I know a little bit different crowd that I'm used to with the hockey group. I'm excited, and I'm excited because with the Coyotes gone, this is it. This is the hockey team in the Metro Phoenix area, and this ASU hockey team is going to be really exciting. So, thank you so much for having me, Totri. This hopefully is a little bit of fun, and we get to talk a little hockey.
I love it.
I can't
Absolutely
see because
love it. Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
old.
That's fair. You see what I go through on a daily basis on this show. You mentioned the Arizona State hockey team. Obviously, a lot of excitement in the air, PD. A lot of that excitement has to do with the fact that the Sun Devils heading into a new season in a new conference, the NCHC, the SEC of hockey for football fans out there. Just for people kind of unfamiliar with the state of college hockey, just how good is this conference, and where do you see Arizona State kind of finding its footing here?
Yeah, and I think this is a good time for ASU athletic fans to really get involved with hockey because, you talk about the new conference for the football and the basketball team. The hockey team's got a new conference. And this team, it's not Kansas. It's not Kansas State. It's not Utah. It's North Dakota. It's Duluth. It's Denver. But these are the top teams in college hockey. 6 of the last 8 national champions have come out of this conference. This is a tough conference. And when I talked to Coach Greg Powers about joining this conference, there were options to look at other conferences. I said, you could go into conference A, B, or C. You'll win. You'll perennially be winning that conference. You'll be in the NCAA. And he said, well, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So that was their choice to join the NCHC. Defending champion Denver is one of the top teams in that. But ASU right now in the preseason rankings in that conference came in at number 8 of 9. However, they're also ranked number 20th in the country. That just shows you how strong this conference is. The ASU Sun Devils come in number 20 in the first preseason polls for college hockey, which is outstanding for this ASU hockey team. They're excited, but I think they have a lot to prove too.
Who do you think can be a giant part of this roster? Because we've seen in years past for Arizona State hockey, obviously some big names. Of course, Josh Doan is a Sun Devil legend in his own right here at Arizona State, now in the pros. But for, again, those unfamiliar with this roster, you've obviously got puck drop for the season debut of this team against Air Force tonight, and we'll get into that. But just in terms of individual talent, individual players, who are you looking to?
Well, it's funny. They've got their top line. It's a little undersized line, but it's guys that are grads, a couple of ASU grad guys. It's the twins. They got the Jackson twins up front with Lucas Sillinger in the middle. This line was their top line a year ago, but they had a lot of injuries, and it was a huge problem. But everybody's coming back healthy. But there's a kid on this team. His name is Cullen Potter. And right now he's ranked in the top 20 players in all of college hockey to keep your eyes on. He's expected to be a first-round draft pick. He is 17 years old. this kid's unreal. And I went and watched him skate over at the ASU practice over at Mullet, and the kid can fly. One of the best skaters in this year's draft. He played at the U.S. development program in Michigan a year ago. He's going to bring a lot of national attention within the hockey world to ASU this year. You're going to see scouts at all the games. Colin Potter's a huge piece of that. And another guy they got in the portal was Lucius Cruz out of Wisconsin. Another kid that's going to be amazing. He's ranked, another kid ranked in the top 40 in the NCAA. I think this team is going to have some recognizable stars. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Any relation to Harry Potter for Colin?
It might be. He kind of looks like him because he's. I tell you, this is the difference for me from covering the Coyotes to going to ASU. I went to practice, and the difference from a 17-year-old to a 24-year-old on the ice at the same time. I mean, there's men and boys out there. It's interesting. I think that if you're going to have a drawback of this ASU team, it's going to be their size. I think they have the skill and speed. I think it's a really talented hockey team. I'm concerned about their size right now. So hopefully when you look at a player like Colin Potter, he's all of 17. Like, dude looks 17. He is going to have to be, he's going to have to be quick on his feet, and he's going to be a great skater so he can avoid some of those situations where a young, small player can get hurt. But I think ASU with this test this weekend, we're going to finally find out kind of where they rank nationally, because the practice is over and now the games finally get going.
You mentioned Potter as a likely first-round pick in the NHL draft. So just to confirm for Arizona State fans, you are getting probably just a single year out of Potter, or is there maybe potentially multiple seasons?
Another good thing for sports fans, if you're a player drafted in the NBA in the first round or the NFL in the first round, you're gone. You're playing. The one thing when you play in the National Hockey League, these players are so young that traditionally, unless you're the first pick overall, which he is not going to be first overall, you go back to where you came from. You go back to your junior club, you go back to your college club. I see Potter being here at ASU 2 seasons minimum, potentially even 3. And again, part of that is his size. He's going to have to fill out before he's able to go play professional hockey, but his skill level jumps out at you when you go see this kid play. So no, I anticipate him to go in the first round next summer, but I also see him returning to ASU in the fall. So that's great news for ASU Sun Devil fans, that this team, I think, is really starting something big, because if Anthony, you go around this campus, you want to go to Grand Forks or Duluth. I don't know if you've ever been, dude.
No.
Go down Tempe in the middle of February and then go down Grand Forks, North Dakota in the middle of February. They are going to be able to recruit with some of the best blue chip players in North America because of the campus, because of their facilities. And now they're in the NCHC, and potentially this team can be a winning team. So I think all of those factors, you're going to see some of the blue chip players, and Colin Potter is just the first of many. Like, he was a blue chipper coming in. He decommitted from Michigan State to attend ASU. I think that's going to see a trend that you see continued through ASU hockey.
Absolutely. Definitely a big difference between Lansing and Arizona State.
Yeah, buddy.
You again talk about the excitement of this season, the new conference, new players. The season gets underway here Friday against Air Force, non-conference matchup. You mentioned earlier this is going to be really a time to see what Arizona State is made of. Just what are your early expectations for this game?
Well, there's some concerns right out of the gate, and I know people probably don't want to hear that. Air Force is not going to be ranked. Air Force is a team that ASU should go in there and take 2 games. They should. There's some problems. When you go up to Air Force, altitude plays a difference. It does. You play Friday, Saturday. It's not like your traditional football. You're playing once a week. You're playing Friday, Saturday. That second game at Colorado College, in Colorado Springs at Air Force, air's thin, man. And these guys are going to be tired out in the second game. That second game is going to be tough for this team. I'm concerned. The other thing to look for this weekend is they come home next week in the Mullet to play the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah.
Huge game. And you don't want these kids. You know how it is, kid. You look to that big game. You look to that big rivalry. And I know Michigan's not a rivalry, but you're going to Mullet on a big weekend, big football weekend next Friday. Like, don't look past it. Because if you do, Air Force can sneak up on you. And one thing, and similar with college football, you need to win the games you're supposed to win. If you want to make the NCAA tournament, these are games they have to win. These are the games they didn't win a year ago, and it cost them a bid to the NCAA tournament. They have to win games like this. You can go in the NCHC conference and finish just above 500 and get into the tournament, but you can't lose to teams like Air Force. So it's imperative they start off on the right foot if they want to make and find themselves in the NCAA tournament at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bring up a great point. Whether that be college football, college basketball, you got to win the games that you are supposed to win. And I think that's been kind of the narrative for such a long time with Arizona State. Football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't really matter. Is that teams and, fans in the Valley don't necessarily want to buy into those programs because they know when they eventually get to a point where there's a number by their name and you see a team that they
Yep.
should go in and they should beat, they ultimately fall flat. Arizona State known for playing up and down to its competition in football, basketball, baseball. And I think that is something that the narrative is trying to be changed. I think Graham Rossini, the athletic director at Arizona State, is trying to do everything in his power to change the national narrative of the department. And you go program by program. Obviously, with Kenny Dillingham at football, you start to feel the walls being torn down and then being put right back up. The same goes for Bobby Hurley in this basketball conference. We know what Willie Bloomquist is trying to build with baseball. And then, of course, you've got Greg Powers. Greg Powers, again, one of the more fun coaches I think I've had the pleasure of talking to at Arizona State. But he's definitely a coach that I think has a lot to prove this season in this massive conference. Again, you mentioned Arizona State being placed 8th out of the 9 teams in that conference. Do you think that this is a team that can surpass those expectations in just year one in this conference?
I do. And I think when you pick them, the preseason poll, 8 out of 9, I think they're better than that. I think this team is better. And one of the things we talk about Coach Greg Powers, and I think that really carries through what you see at ASU athletics, is he graduate. He went to the Cronkite School of Broadcasting. By the way, that's why he's so good in the interviews, because he is outstanding on the other side of the mic. But you go through that locker room and the signs everywhere say "Be the tradition." He understands the importance of this university. He believes in it wholeheartedly, and it's probably what makes him such a good coach, because this program is everything to him. He created this program literally from nothing, and he has. It's a big deal to him. Like, he lives and breathes ASU hockey, ASU sports, ASU the university, and I think it really comes through to those players. They understand the assignment. I've only been in a few locker rooms, and I go from the National Hockey League all through college, that feels like the ASU locker room. That they have a tremendous amount of pride in that room, and it's different. You do, it's palpable. You feel it. I do think there's something special brewing in this locker room. I don't know if it's this year, but I do feel something special coming. And it's funny, you talk about Greg Powers, really good coach, but he also understands where he needs help.
Yeah.
And he brought in an assistant coach this year named Mike Corbett from 2 years ago's national champion Quinnipiac. And I think he's a guy that's really going to help get these players prepared, X's and O's wise. He's going to get them, hey, I've won. Here's what it takes to win in the NCAA. So I think he's got a really strong coaching staff, and I hope that the excitement starts to happen on campus. It's hard. It's hard when you look at the Big 12 jump for basketball and football. There's a lot of buzz on every football weekend. Hopefully that starts to grow for hockey as they become more successful. I know it's still going to be a niche sport on campus, but you want to see that the other sports supporting them. It's funny. I sat down and met with a few of the players the other day, and one of their good buddies is Cam Skattebo, and they go to the movies together. They hang out, and I'm like, that's great to see those two sports, starting to mesh and click. Because I think that's what college sports is about, and the college experience. So I do think that this is going to be something that you start to talk more about, not just on this show, but I think in the metro area. I think you are going to talk more about the ASU Sun Devil hockey team.
I think a lot of it starts with, again, the change in the narrative and the change in the personnel in the athletic department. Again, going up to Graham Rossini, I woke up this morning and I've got notifications on for certain individuals on social media. And the very first thing that popped across my Twitter this morning was Kenny Dillingham. Kenny Dillingham retweeting in a commitment announcement this morning. And I pulled it up, assuming that it was going to be football. And it was actually the 4-star forward, Booker. Wow, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name. Toninato for ASU hockey, committing to Arizona State. And Kenny
Booker
Dillingham,
Toninato?
Yeah,
Minnesota kid. There
Kenny
you go.
was the one that retweeted that came across my feed this morning. And again, that's the type of hand-in-hand work that I think you need to see being done for Arizona State to eventually start to build some national fire more than just football.
You bring up something good. Like Kenny Dillingham is Greg Powers. Like he lives and breathes ASU, and he understands the importance to think outside of the program, outside of the block. It's about the university, and I think that when Dillingham came to ASU, that's all I heard is no, this is it for him. Like he lives ASU, and I think that's Greg Powers, and I think that's what is going to turn this ASU athletic program around. And I don't want to say turnaround. That's not a fair statement, but to start get that national recognition in all of the sports. And I do think honestly, one sport helps the other. And
Absolutely.
Once you understand that, you start to build an athletic powerhouse. And I do believe they're on the verge. They're on the verge here at ASU.
Last thing before we get you out of here, PD, we do this thing on the PHNX Sun Devils show where we like to kind of go into La La Land from time to time, and that's what I want to do with you. I want to go to La La Land, and I want to pretend that Arizona State sweeps Air Force. They get it done. They take care of business, and we're on to Mullet Arena, the home opener up against Michigan. What would taking some games against Michigan mean for this program so early on in the season?
I think there's a couple of things. I think it's going to set the stage at home, and I think winning at home is going to be huge for this team. I think they need to own Tempe. I think if a team comes into Tempe, this is our house, you're not going to win. And I think that starts with a nationally recognized program like Michigan on a big football weekend. I mean, this game on Friday is at 3:30 in the afternoon because it's a doubleheader night. You go right from the hockey game. By the way, students and fans do that. Make the doubleheader. See if you can get both tickets. Go to the hockey game and then go to the football game at night. The campus is going to be buzzing. They need to own it. They need teams like Grand Forks and Duluth that play in these cold weather climates to come in here in December and January and February and go, oh, this is really nice. And kind of forget I have to play hockey. I might swing through Mill Avenue for a minute. That's where they can start to set the tone this weekend. I think this puts them in the national. You're not going to talk about national championship yet. I'm not getting ahead of myself, but you're going to go from a 20th ranking. If you can come through and get a couple of wins against a Michigan Wolverine team that's very, very good, you're going to see this team instantly jump into the top 15, potentially the top 10 in college hockey. And that's very exciting for a program that's really, really new still. I mean, it's the third season in Mullet. So I think it's huge. And I do hope that the student body really starts to see it at Totri, because when you go to a football game, and you've been to many ASU football games, when that student section gets buzzing, it's a fun place to be.
Yeah.
And at Mullet, if you haven't been at Mullet, there's 942 seats, section 942 for the student section. When they are there and they are loud, that building is insane. I'm going to be there next weekend. Can't wait. Not going Friday because I don't want to deal with traffic and parking. Because it's funny as I look at you, Totri, like we this, by the way, as fun as advertised working with you, I've always said you're the smoothest guy at PHNX. I've said it to you.
Thank you.
But I'm looking at the two of us, and I'm kind of get that feeling of the before and after picture. like you're young and handsome. You got the good beard going. Look at you got the muscles and stuff rocking. Look at me. I feel so old on the ASU show today. The beard is scraggly. I'm a mess, buddy. But
we're doing this all the time, man. We definitely are getting it.
Let's go.
Peters. I think so, man. I think you absolutely passed the test. You heard PD. It's going to be an exciting time. Hockey is back. Make sure you are locked in. PHNX Sun Devils, and then of course PHNX Hockey as well for all things hockey here in the Valley. We're going to be doing this at least once a week. Make sure you follow our friend, our family member, PD at S Peters Hockey on social, right?
You got
there you go. S Peters Hockey on social. PD, we appreciate you taking the time as always, man.
Thanks, Dr. Man. And hey, forks up.
There we go. I love PD. PD's the GOAT. Absolutely. Chad Johnson in the chat. Going to be at hockey games up in Minnesota. Stephen Joseph Comedy 1714 ASU talking football. Infamous front runner in the chat. KU goes off 40-28. Jeez. That would not be ideal for anybody here at PHNX. Look, guys, we still have one more segment to get to, and if you are a PHNX Sun Devils regular, you know exactly where we are headed. But if you're new here, well, you're just going to have to wait till the other side of this break. Guys, I'm rocking shades. I always do. Because when you have shady rays, there's nothing better to block out the sun, the lights. And for me, Be blocking out them haters with these Shady Rays, guys. Shady Rays has hundreds of options to choose from, so you are bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. Look, I say it every time. We have a number of personalities, a number of fashion tastes, a number of individuals that have come across the PHNX Sun Devils show. Me, Eric, Captain Redbeard, we all have very different styles, very different tastes in our sunglasses, and Shady Rays has something for everybody. If they can fit our needs, they can fit yours as well. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or maybe they take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They've got the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken support. Guys, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use that code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try it for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
You can also go to FOCO. FOCO is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, just basically everything. Literally everything at FOCO. It's the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms, whether it's hoodies, jackets, beachwear, or even overalls. There's something for fans for almost every occasion. They also have set decorations. They really do have whatever you need. FOCO has donated a few awesome pieces to our very own sets. Go show them some love, guys. FOCO always has our back for Arizona sports, and they will have yours too. Get the best gear around by visiting www.foco.com and using code PHNX. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHNX10. That's PHNX10 for 10% off.
I love it. I love it, guys. It's Friday. It's time for Hot or Not. And if you're new here, it's a very simple segment. Captain Redbeard has 3 very random topics. And when I say random, I mean very random. He's going to toss them out. And you, me, and him, well, we're just going to give our opinions. Is it hot? Is it not? Today we make friends or we make enemies. It's up to you. Captain Redbeard, what do we got for topic numero uno?
For numero uno, we've got going to the gym at 5 a.m.
Ooh, wow.
Early in the morning, gym sessions, hot or not?
Okay. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. So, I love the gym a lot. Captain Redbeard, I know you appreciate the gym as well. 5 a.m. is a great time to get a workout because by the time you're done, you've already got it done. You're done working out before a ton of people are even awake. You don't got to do it after work. You don't got to worry about all that, the rush after work. You're tired. The only thing that's holding me back a little bit is I'm not the type of person that usually wakes up at about 4:30 to get to the gym at 5 o'clock.
You got to go to bed early too. That's something to factor in.
But even like nowadays, I'm going to bed at like 9:30, 9:45, and I'm up at like 7.
Yeah.
How early do I got to go to bed to wake up and not be tired at 4:45?
I don't know, 8? Like, yeah.
I don't know if I can literally go to bed better.
I know I couldn't.
So what do you think? Is it hot or not?
I think if you can do it, it's hot, but I'm going to go with not. There's a lot of benefits to going that early. Like you said, you have your whole day. You're up before everyone else. You already hit a workout.
Yeah.
You're feeling good.
You do feel good. You feel really good.
Yeah. I'm going to go not though. I prefer to work out later. Get a little bit. I know I don't eat much, but getting a little bit of food in my system. Getting hydrated. Go to the gym later.
But the best thing is after you work out in the morning. So if I were to work out in the morning, I wouldn't eat breakfast like before I work out. You are lean as heck after a workout in the morning that early. You haven't eaten. Like it is crazy. Stephen Joseph commenting in the chat. Hot. I do it 5 days a week. No waiting. Test levels the highest when you first wake up. Not reading that last part. Chad Johnson in the chat, hot. Get it done in a great way to start the day. I think I'm going to go hot. I think I'm going to go hot on this one. Had to talk myself into it a little bit. You're not going to catch me at the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning anytime soon. But it's hot. That's a good one. That's a tough one, too. What's topic number 2?
This was a tough one, too. It's sort of like either or. So are headphones hot or not compared to speakers? Like,
Wow.
would you rather have like headphones on, or if you're going back to your place, would you put on headphones or would you turn on your
speakers?
speaker?
I put on speakers every single time. Like, I'm the type of person that plays music. Like, I'm not even joking. Probably 80% of the time that I'm awake. And like, you can attest to this in the office.
Yeah,
I'm usually playing music.
Confirm.
I'm listening to music in the gym. And then when I go home, like if I'm cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner, if I'm working in the mornings, I have my speaker out and it's playing music. It's just like if you're out in public or in like a group setting, headphones are like the respectful, courteous thing to do. I'm gonna go headphones not hot, speakers hot for that purpose. What about you?
Mm. Like, to go back to what you said, if you go out in public, are you the type of guy to like have your phone out with music playing out loud?
No.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
iPhone on, or your phone's on speaker mode
That's just
on
weird,
a phone call.
I feel like that's weird.
Yeah, no, I'm not that guy either, but I'm a headphones guy.
Really?
I've always been. Yeah, like even if I go home, I'll throw in headphones.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I got a speaker, but
And do you have a roommate or no?
No. So
you're just rocking headphones like
24/7.
That's something.
Like Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Stephen Joseph comedy chat. Speakers are so annoying in public. Great at home. Yeah, they're great at home, great at parties. See, like you wouldn't show up to a party and put headphones in.
No.
So I guess it's kind of the occasion.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick between the two, you're going headphones every time?
Yeah, every time.
Oh, I'm going speaker every time.
Wow.
It's tough. It's tough. We're on two opposite sides of the aisle, man. I'm gonna have to make you walk the plank. What is topic number 3? Bring us home, Kyle.
Last topic, movies that have musicals, like musicals that are in movies.
No,
hot or not?
Nope, not hot. Ice cold. I hate musicals. I think they're dumb. I do. I really do. I'm sorry. High School Musical, I'm fine with that. Every other musical.
La La Land?
No, I've never seen La La Land.
What?
Yeah. Have you? Oh,
Yeah.
no, we've talked about this. We have talked about this. Also, Stephen just commenting in the chat, headphones let me listen to Totri's beautiful voice no matter where I am. I guess in that case, headphones work. Thank you, Stephen Joseph Comedy. Yeah, there's like zero way that you could sell me on a musical. Like it would, yeah, about 0%. Like it would have to be like you'd have to have specific people in that musical for me to be on board about it. What about you?
I'd say not. I'm in the same boat. We're in the same boat.
Really?
Usually.
You're going not, even though you're a La La fan?
Yeah, I think there's very rare occasions. I mean, the reason I picked this just because Joker 2 came out and it's a musical.
Which just feels weird to me.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I don't know. I wanted to pick your brain. And I don't think it's just weird when you're watching a movie and it's serious. And then all of a sudden they
start singing,
break out into song. And you're like, what am I watching?
It's funny.
It is funny.
It's
funny with a group. But yeah, I'm going to go not.
Matt in the chat. I'm not going to read your comment. I'm just curious why you're so like, what's got you so down bad today, man? Why are you so upset? Why are you so upset in the chat? Let me know. Hopefully we can make it better, man. Hopefully the rest of your day goes a lot smoother. Guys, that is hot or not. Again, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Had a couple of people slide in my DMs over the last couple of days saying they're going to be at the ASU football game. Let me know where they're going to sit. I'm going to come with Eric. We're going to come say what's up. Maybe take a couple photos before that game gets rolling. So just let me know, guys. Let me know. Unless you're a Wildcat fan, stay out of my mentions, stay out of my chat. Rent's due on the 1st. But that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils Show. We will be back for a post-game show on Saturday. The only place that is going to give you immediate post-game coverage for up to an hour and a half long, depending on the result of that game. It's going to be a ton of fun. JJ, fold them up in the chat. What's going on with O'Meara and McLean? Thought they were going to be starters. Tyson, Jake Smith, Xavier Guillory, man. Melquan Stovall. There's some dogs. There's some dogs. And a lot of those guys been here for a little bit longer. So those are the ones running with the ones and twos. So we'll see if O'Meara and McLean get some run at some point over the next couple of weeks. But again, we will see you guys tomorrow. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the man behind the Mac, the man steering the ship that is Captain Redbeard at K-Coop Sports. In the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.